again. Welcome to Feast and Farm Cooks. I'm Rachel Ballard, and today we are making classic stuffed peppers. I know this looks like a lot of stuff for a recipe that's so simple, but don't be intimidated. It's really easy to do. So we're going to make, these are one of the most customized recipes on the blog, I think. A lot of people have done this. They take this basic version and they swap things out. So they take the tomato sauce out and they add pasta sauce and make it taste like pepperoni and mozzarella and make it like a pizza version of stuffed peppers. I've had people put in salsa and cilantro and jalapenos and make it like a Southwest version. There's lots of ways to do this, but this is your starter recipe that you can adjust any way you choose. Now, my recipe only does 3 peppers. I probably would be hard pressed to eat an entire stuffed pepper by myself, so I would cut mine in half. But if you want to make more than 3, feel free to double the recipe. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to slightly pre-cook these peppers, just a little bit. So let me show you how to prep them. What we're going to do is we're going to cut the tops off. How about I move this over so you can see something? We're going to cut the tops off, and then we're going to just reach in here and get all of those seeds. Twist it, pull it out. You can leave the little bit of ribs that might be on the inside. You can leave those there, and that's fine. Now, if your bell pepper doesn't want to stand up, my little guy's kind of like, he's not having it. You can just carefully and slowly trim a little of the bottom of the pepper off until you get it leveled up. Try not to cut through it if you can. See? Simple. All right, so I'm going to finish all 3 of these peppers really quickly, and then we're going to drop these into boiling water. Now, boiling water, just like I said, just to kind of pre-cook them so that we ensure that everything is done, because the filling is completely cooked when we put it in. So we're just kind of heating things through. We want to make sure that the peppers aren't behind when they come out of the oven and too crispy or too tough. So, last one. Let me move this over so you can see. Take that top off. Well, that guy's a little crooked, but that's okay. We'll get him. There we go. Get out any seeds that might be in there. Make sure he stands up okay, and you're good to go. Now I've got a pot of just barely simmering water here, and I'm going to drop these peppers in, and we are going to just give them about 3 minutes to cook, and then I'll take them out, let them cool slightly, and I'll show you how to do the filling. Be back in just a second. Okay, let's get this filling put together. Now, I have my peppers out, and I have them over here just kind of cooling in this dish. I turned them upside down to drain out any water that might have been kind of hanging out in there. So those are great and ready to go, and they'll be ready when we're ready. Now, for the filling, we're going to do, it's just regular white onion or a sweet Vidalia if you've got that. It's about 1 pound of ground beef, and then we'll do tomato sauce, it's salt, pepper, garlic powder, and then some pre-cooked brown or white rice, whatever you like, will go in there next. So let's start by getting the ground beef browned up first. And I've got my skillet heating up here. We're going to put our meat in. And don't worry, I'll wash my hands in a minute. We'll get it taken care of. Then I'm going to put my onions in. Now, I'll show you a little trick. I know that this is probably not the best way to treat my skillet here, but this is a scraper, a bench scraper, and it is one of the best ways to break up ground beef. Like, I'm not going to stand here with my wooden spoon all day and do this, and so I just love this bench scraper for this. I try not to, like, dig it into my skillet really badly, but it does work. So, I'm going to stand here, I'm going to break up this ground beef, I'm going to cook it all the way through till there's no pink left and drain off any extra fat that I see in the skillet, and then I'll show you how to finish it off. Be right back. All right, so the ground beef is all cooked, there's no pink left in there, the onions are nice and soft and translucent, and I drained off all the extra fat. So the only things we have left to do now is really just put the rest of the ingredients in. So this is 16 ounces of tomato sauce. Now this is not pasta sauce, so don't make that mistake. This is truly just finely pureed tomatoes. No seasonings or anything are in that, so just make sure you don't make that mistake and put a pasta sauce in. It probably tastes fine. If you're making the Italian version, it'd be exactly what you wanted, but in this case, just plain. Then we're going to add our seasonings. This is salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And stir those in. And then just your pre-cooked rice. Now, if you'll notice in the recipe, it says, I think my recipe says something like 1 cup of rice cooked. Okay, so what that means is you measure a cup of dry rice and then cook it and use it. If it says 1 cup of cooked rice, that means cook it, measure a cup, and then put that in. Does that make sense? A lot of times people will ask me, you know, am I supposed to measure it first or am I supposed to cook it first and then measure it? In this case, you measure it first and then you cook it. So it makes a lot of rice, and I don't really know if I'm going to get all this in 3 peppers. If I don't, you can freeze this. Certainly freezes very, very well. I'm going to start with 3/4 of that. Let's see how we do. You can certainly freeze the extra filling, or if you're making extras, like I said, you can do that. I wouldn't freeze it in the peppers. When you do freeze vegetables, sometimes they tend to let out a lot of water when they unthaw. So I wouldn't freeze my bell peppers, but I would certainly freeze this filling without any worry. So got that mixed in, and all we have to do is fill our peppers up. Now you can fill these, heap them full if that's how you like them. I'm going to get mine in there. Oh yeah, I've got tons of filling. Tons. So I'll probably freeze the rest of this for a second batch later. There's that one. And that is 2 dinners down in one go of it. So that's really nice. Okay. Here's our second one. And if your peppers are big, of course, it depends on the size of your peppers. If your peppers are really monstrous, this would probably fill them all the way up. So you'll just have to kind of be mindful of how big your peppers are in relation to how much filling you need. All right, these are just kind of average guys. That's what I'd call these. All right, so those are all filled. And all we're going to do is just bake them off about 25 minutes in the oven at 350 and until they're just heated all the way through, and they'll be ready to serve. So I'll be back in a little bit. Our peppers are out of the oven. I am knife and fork in hand, and we are ready to dive into one of these. Now, they're screaming hot. I just took them out of the oven. I don't know if this is a smart idea or not, y'all. But what I might do is just take one of these guys and cut him right down the middle. They cut so easily. Those peppers are nice and tender inside. So before I stuff this in my mouth, and you have to stand here and watch me chew, I will tell you, don't forget to like and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. I would love to have you with me all the time here on Feast and Farm Cooks. Make sure to share with me, Instagram, whatever. I'd love to see your creations from my food, from my recipes. To get this full written recipe, I will leave a link below the video in the description box. Feel free to follow that over to the Feast and Farm website and make yours tonight. I can't wait to see what you do. See you later. Bye. Green onions. Make sure to share with me on instant media. How about social media?